Libra, Tourmaline Tarot, we are going to do your major issue read for April, which is just reading with the majors in one deck, and then we clarify with a whole deck, and then do some oracle action on top of it. So let's see what we have. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so what do we have, Libra? For general, we have transformation. We have the Tower for relationships. We'll talk. It's okay. And we have Empress for career, finances, etc. So now we're going to pull the challenges on top of this, right? So for general, we have the Star. We have the Chariot in relationships. And then we have the Sun over top of career, finances, etc. So, and when I say career finances, I mean like all practical stuff, all, you know, the nuts and bolts of, you know, not necessarily just a job. So if we're talking about, before we get into anything else, you have transformation, which is death, which is just literally a change, and then the Star. I think, you know, with this being what's general, you know, overall, there's new stuff coming in, but for order for the new stuff to come in, you got to figure out what's going out. You know, and that might be kind of a tough cut. We're going to clarify that as well. But you do have some shifting going on, but backing it up, though, is the Star. So I feel like you're just trying to, I want to say level up. Just level up in general. I get like a big leveling up. But when you level up, what has to give? And that's kind of where you might be feeling right now. Because with the Tower in the relationships, this doesn't have to just be love. But this is like friendships, family, how, you know, overall, how do people view you? Are you, you know, I want to be like captain of industry, or are you just, you know, a loving, nurturing person? Like, you're just trying to figure out your place in relationships, like how you're viewed, how you view other people, etc. But with the Chariot as the, you know, the crossing it, there's a movement that I don't know if you feel like you're 100% ready for, but it's happening. And even if you don't put the work into it, things are, like I said, are shifting. And you might feel like you're getting pushed into stuff that you're spiritually ready for. Like, you know, universe is like, Libra, you're ready. But the rest of it is like, no. So practically, in general, though, you have the Empress. There are good starts coming out. And I mean, the challenge is opportunities coming in. I mean, like, what a challenge to have, right? So, you know, if you look at how your money's flowing, how your situation's flowing, some people take that as an indicator of how in the flow you are of stuff. So if this stuff is going well, you know, I'd kind of take it as a high sign, or if stuff is evolving in this area, take it as a high sign to be like, okay, all right, we're going the right way here. You know, I got the high sign. We're good. So now, clarifying with the whole deck. Let's see. 1. Give me some good shuffle. Oh yeah, there it is. That's 3. 2. 3. Okay. We're going to pull a couple of that. Page of Swords. Queen of Wands. Queen of Cups. So we'll talk about that in a second. I like to get the whole thing up before I start running my mouth. We got 9 of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and 5 of Cups. We'll talk. Don't get upset. We have the Page of Cups, 5 of Wands, and the Moon. So we're just going to talk about this real quick. We'll clarify it. We'll get into it. It'll be fine. So with this Page of Swords, there is kind of like a impetuousness to it. I feel like you might be seeing stuff or hearing stuff that's not necessarily bad, but you're like, wait, it just kind of shifts the way you're thinking, because something is changing and you're like, oh, that doesn't match what I've been doing. That's not what they told me. That's not what I heard. You know, so there's a kind of like an incongruency I'm getting, which makes you, with the queens are more, for me, emotional and more like relationship wise. Kings are more like the mastery aspect of it. So between your actions and your feelings, you're trying to gauge how you're going to deal with stuff. We'll clarify this a little further. So you might have, something's kicked this off. I don't know what the inciting event was, but something's made you really kind of like reevaluate what you're doing and how you're feeling. And not necessarily in a bad way, because like you have the star as your challenge, like, come on. So in relationship wise, you have the Nine of Pentacles. That's a very individual card for me. This is kind of assessing what you have, what you bring to the table. And then the Queen of Pentacles. That is, people say it's the wife card, but for me, this is someone who has their act together, who is able to, manifest stuff, is very stable. It's just kind of the person, is the go-to. Like, she's kind of like the go-to queen for me, who's like, if you ask her a question, she's probably going to have the answer. But with the Five of Cups, that's kind of like the shoulda, coulda, woulda. For me, that's a re-evaluation card, especially in this stretch, because you're figuring how you figure into stuff. And what have you done? This could actually be you thinking like, well, why did I let that happen? Why, what about me made this okay? Why did I stick around for so long? It's kind of like you're really taking stock, and I wouldn't get too far down that rabbit hole of, regrets and the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, because a lot of times it's not even about you. So, because if you're the stable one and everyone else is the cuckoo choose, don't put it too hard on yourself. You know what I mean? So looking at this financial stuff, career, etc., you have the Page of Cups, which is those opportunities coming in, and the Five of Wands. There's some kind of competition going on, if there's anything that's working out in that way. But there's an intuitive sense of knowing, like, you kind of have this attitude of like, people are trying to compete with you, but at the same time, you're like, I'm clapping for you. I'm clapping for you because you are you and they are them. And there's kind of like, there's no comparison because everyone has their own talents and their own thing. And you're like, I don't have to compete with you because I know what I'm bringing to the table, right? He's got his little fish in his cup. So, you're kind of not buying into any, tussles. It's like you don't have to show up to every fight you're invited to. I think you're in that kind of energy. So let's clarify. I want to go here first. I want to go to the finance stuff. So what is Libra looking at here? That's too many, but Emperor did pop. So, all right, give me some good stuff. No, it's too many too. Don't make me shuffle, y'all. Thank you. So here we go. This is good. You have the Knight of Wands. You also have the Knight of Swords, and then you have the Ten of Pentacles in between. What you're saying and what you're doing, like logically, you just logically know this stuff, and you're putting things into action that all factor into your Ten of Pentacles. So like I said, these are the two mover shaker knights of, their horses are moving, the swords are up, wands are up, like, let's do this. There's a go energy about it, but like I said with the moon, you kind of already have the gist. Like, you already kind of get it, that you're like, like I said, I'm clapping for you. Good for y'all. I'll be over here. So I want to go to this relationship thing. What's this 5? I'm just going to take a look. Okay, this is, if it comes out again, I'm going to take it, but it's the same chunk that tried to come out before. All right, what are we talking about here? You just want to be done with anything that's holding you back. So I think, if you're taking stock, like I said, there's just big taking stock of like, what is going to get me to the next phase? What is phase 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you may be on? You don't want this stuff anymore because you just want it to like wrap up. You're like, okay, and scene. So what can Libra do? I do just want a little bit of advice on this before we kick out the jams and some oracle. Okay. Ace of Cups wanted to come out. Seven of Wands. This is the confusion factor, but you're able to kind of defend yourself. I think you might be kind of in like an earlier stages of clearing this out, or you're just kind of like in the middle of it right now. So what is Libra doing? It's like, get the Sharpie, we're drawing boundaries. Like, that's kind of the vibe we're getting. But like, also don't be too hard on yourself. You know, and like I said, this could be love, you know, family, friendships, just in general. There's like a revamp. That's too many. But let's see. All right, give me one for this. Does not want to talk. You don't want to talk, do you? Okay. Don't make me shuffle. Justice tried to come out. Okay. Give me one. Are you gonna be sassy? Emperor and King of Pentacles. So there you go. You have this kind of, you need to be in control. You are going to be the point man or woman or person, whatever, when it comes to, remember I said the Queen of Pentacles, you ask her a question, she's got the answer. This is like the penultimate. Ask a question, you got the answer. So there is this kind of control that you have on this that you're gaining by clearing out and moving forward. So let's go to this general. What about Libra? Okay, we kind of got two sets coming out. You have Eight of Wands, Eight of Cups. So that means you are making changes. You are kind of leaving stuff behind. You are kind of walking away from things that are not working out for you. You might have a couple heart-to-hearts coming up. You could just be talking in general about situations. And these came out together, the Two and the Three of Wands. So you've kind of, you know the ships are coming in. You know that the world's in your hands. You've kind of made a decision to move, but you are still kind of waiting a little bit, and you have walked away from something, or you are kind of leaving it in the past. You don't have to like physically be leaving something, but you can emotionally be like, you know what? Put a pin in it. We're going to come back to that because you are evolving, like I said. So now let's do some oracle business. Let's see what we have cooking for Libra. All right, 1, 2, one's 5, 4, 5. Okay, so we got the pig, star, hello, and the stork. I was like I'm like, should I say this now? I'm like, just wait, just give it a second. So we have the birds, the fire, and the lion. We have, in career, we have lilies, which is like Wheel of Fortune. You have the bear, and then the snake, right? Okay, so like I said, come here. The pig is usually, or it can be, like a fat and happy card, like you have everything you need, so why would you want to do that? But with that comes a complacency where you're like, man, good enough. That's fine. I'm good. We're cool. So remember, your challenge is the star up here. You have the star in this deck, which could be you trying to figure out what you actually want. Like, yeah, I mean, it's good, but what about better and best? Like, what's this level up thing? Like, and if you don't do it yourself, I think it's going to be like, no, we're going to give you the good stuff. You're going to get it no matter what, Libra. So then we have the stork. That's that migration. Storks migrate. They go to where there's food. They go to where there's like a good environment. They don't just stay where it's cold and there's no food, So the storks have to move. Also, storks in, folklore and stuff brought babies. I'm not saying you're getting actual babies, but there's this start of stuff. So the stork could be like, oh, guess what? On your doorstep, opportunity. On your doorstep, a chance. On your doorstep, something new. So be aware for that. If we're talking about this relationship stuff, there's the birds. That's kind of like chirpy communication. It could be gossip. It could be like there's just not necessarily bad gossip, but like too many people are talking, too much flapping gums. There's the fire that, it's like there's a passion there. There's a drive. But with the lion, that's a surprise card. Remember how I said there's like a need to kind of defend yourself, to be like, whoa, pump the brakes. There is that kind of energy with the lion where you got to like be able to roar back. If someone pushes, you're like, rah, rah. No. Maybe a little more forcefully, but you know what I mean. So with this is, you know, my fate card. This is like my Wheel of Fortune card if you want to talk tarot. But there's something moving that's bigger that you can't, you know, it's just kind of like the destiny fate for me. The bear is, you know, you have bull and bear market, right? So you have, you know, finances, income, etc. But with the snake, remember how I said there's like this competition and a little bit of like, this for me, the way this comes out sometimes is like this is a jealousy card. The snake's kind of like, what you doing? Like, what you doing? You know? So just, like I said, kind of keep an eye out for that. Because like I said, like you just know. You're like, why? Like, why have this? Like, why make it a thing? Like, it's not a thing. So let's talk about, okay. I think it's going to come, because remember the sun's the challenge. And you have the sun here. I feel like whatever that is going to kind of come out. Or opportunities are coming regardless. So you're like, don't blame me because you know, I've put the work in and universe favors it right now. Like, get over yourself. So what is this defensiveness that Libra has to have when it comes to relationships? I feel like you're kind of guarding your heart, guarding your feelings. You're not stabby about it, but you're not going to do that one-upsmanship. Like I said, there is a boundary thing where you're like, nope, I'm not given to something that's not going to be good for me. And in general, with this opportunity stuff, there is that guarded thing again, because the mice is kind of an annoyance thing, but they're quiet. Like, they don't have to advertise. And then you have the cats, which is some kind of superficialness, but reading it in general, like cat and mouse, there's that back and forth. Who's catching who? You know, are you going around for a little bit of cheese just to have, you know, like Morris the cat come after you? Like, I do want to clarify that a little bit more, because I feel like there's this back and forth. Yeah, so you have the metal and the rose. Somebody wants recognition. Somebody, like, the rose is sturdy and everything, and it's like, no, like, look at all these qualities I have. Like, recognize. Like, this is, I'm not playing. Like, it's Libra not playing today. Never was. So, okay. I feel like overall, you have some boundaries that you're doing. Good stuff is coming regardless of what you do or what anyone says. So it's like, chirp, chirp, chirp. Just keep going. Keep going. So, big reevaluation when it comes to relationships, boundaries. Don't get caught up. You know, when someone says like, it's not you, it's me, believe it is them. It is them. So don't think it's you. But overall, like I said, good stuff is coming in and stuff is changing. You just need to jump on that ship when it comes along and walk away from the stuff that, like, you've been putting your energy in that is just not feeding. So remember the stork? Stork goes where the good stuff is. Libra do that too. So now we're doing the cards here for crystals. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that flying out. Rose quartz. Hi. Like, absolute one of the faves. You know that. Unconditional love, peace, romantic love, trust, and harmony. So card signifies that love will soon enter your life, either as a romantic gift or in a way that will help you heal past wounds and move on. What were we just talking about? Okay, Libra, that's what we have for your major issue for April, and I'll talk to you in a couple weeks.